Okay, good afternoon everybody and welcome to today's ArcGIS for Schools webinar, which will go through how to get set up with your ArcGIS for Schools account. So my name is Aidan Crosdell and I'm the Programme Lead for the ArcGIS for Schools programme for Esri Ireland. So what we're going to cover today is ArcGIS for Schools, which is free GIS for schools. We're going to look at ArcGIS Online, which is our online mapping platform that you are probably familiar with, or getting familiar with. You at least have an account set up for your school and you'd like to get up and running using it. So this is completely free access to primary and secondary schools for both Ireland and Northern Ireland, and it's fully cloud-based, so you can access it anywhere at any time on any device, and it's all island-wide. So what we'll cover in today's webinar is just the initial getting set up and getting up and running using your account. So this involves logging into your account, administration of your account, setting up new users and roles, adding data into your maps. This is data you create yourself. There's a lot of data already in ArcGIS Online which we can go through throughout the webinar, but this is starting from scratch. You've got an idea in mind or a topic for a lesson that you'd like to cover with your class, and you're not sure where to start, how to get those points on the map. So this will run you through how in a couple of different ways. We'll also look at where you can find additional data for your map for different lessons or to complement your own data that you're looking at. Because ArcGIS for Schools is a global program and Esri is in most countries in the world, it means that there's a lot of data available within ArcGIS Online globally. So there'll be a lot of organisations and businesses across the world that use ArcGIS Online, and they share their data publicly, which means anybody that has access to an ArcGIS Online account will also have the ability to share their content with anyone else in ArcGIS Online. So we can go through sharing later on, but this is a really great opportunity for ArcGIS for Schools because there's a lot of content and data already there from a variety of industries and topics that you can work on with your students to show them. So we'll go through sharing content, and then I can go through some of the helpful links and resources that are available, and also some additional training resources that you might like to look at. And we have some Q&A at the end as well that you can ask some questions. So I'm just going to click in and get started. So the first thing we want to look at is logging into your account. So you will have received a login from me that I've sent to you to get into your ArcGIS Online account, or this might be the first time you're looking at it. It just depends. You might be very familiar with this already, but I'm just going to start from the start. So you just go to arcgis.com. You'll be greeted with this page, and all you do is click sign in. When you sign in, you'll be asked for your login. So you just put in your username and then your password. So when you enter your username and password, this screen will be visible to you. So what does this mean and what's in here? So essentially it will break down your subscription ID, which you might need for if you've got any help or support queries that you need help with, and this links to your account. So your school is going to be called whichever your title is from the URL, like St. Mary's or St. Kevin's or whichever, it will be here, and then .maps@arcgis.com. This is our Esri Ireland Schools account, and that's what that looks like. So break down the total number of members in our account. There's two different types of members that you can have, but you can set these up additional ones, which we will do in the schools account for students and teachers. Essentially, there's a creator and the viewer. So you might just look over this one, but the main one that you might like to look at is to how to add members into your account. So this is how to add teachers in if you're the administrator, but also how to add your students in for specific classes. Where do you start? So I've got a class after lunch and I have 10 or 12 students and I want to give them a login so they'll be able to work on their lessons. So how to do this is you click members, and you go over to invite members. So there's two ways to do this. So you can add members without sending invitations, or add members and notify them by email. I think the most efficient way probably is add members without sending invitations, and this means you just give the username and password that you set up directly to the student, and so they can access their account straight away. You can just give them this rather than trying to find an email that invites them into the account. So you can click this one and click next. There's two ways to do this. You can add a new member one by one, or add a group of members by file. So we might look at add a new member just one at a time. So you can give the person a first name. So say Peter. Jones email address. And username. It might pick one up automatically, so you might say Peter Jones. For instance, or I could pick up one automatically. I might actually just say Peter Jones. Okay. You can go down there based off the user type of creator, which is a fully editable user type that can create data, publish data for different maps and view it. So it basically has all the different functionality within this user type. And a role is you can have different roles for your members of your account. So put simply, it means each of these roles can do a varying amount of functionality. So you can really limit down what a teacher or a student can do from within your school. Essentially, for a student, you can edit out that they can publish anything publicly, or you might want them so that they can't edit anything. So this is something that we can look at. So for this, I'm just going to keep it as a user, and you can give them a temporary password. And click next. And we can just click add members. So if I search for Peter now, he'll be added into my account, as you can see. And also once they're in the account, you can adjust their roles accordingly. So I want Peter to be a student. So, or you can change this up. Essentially what this means is if I go back to my organization, there's a settings page that's here. And this would be the full administration of your account, like its name, logos, and so on. But there's a variety of things here, even the gallery. If you create a number of maps that you want every student to see if it's in your school, you can create a gallery, which is a good thing to look at. But this is what the roles are based off. So if I go into any of these, I can go and create a role just to show you. This is the role and the privileges that users can do. So they can view, create, update and delete features, create, update and delete content, publish feature layers, which is publish their own data, edit, have access to premium content, share with groups and organizations. So if you want to give that user role those abilities, you just tick on what you want them to be able to do. But of course these are pre-configured and you can go in and change them afterwards. So just share with groups but never share with public, say. So I'm just going to save this role. And that's what they're based off. But how to control this is you just go to your members, and if we search Peter again, we'll see that he's there and he's under student, but he can be changed, and that's how you do it. So the next way to do it is you can invite members, add members without invitations, click next, and this time we're going to add a group of members by a file. So you can click on new members. I've got a CSV file that I've created earlier that I can show you here. So what I have in this is I've got the email, I've got the first name, the last name, the username, the password, the role that I just showed you there, and the user type, which is based off the creator who can do everything, and then the role is a limited watered down version of that, and then allow Esri access. So what allow Esri access means is once you allow Esri access, what I'll show later on is that they'll have access to the really helpful resources that are available from Esri.com. So they'll be able to link into that, some of the training resources and help guides. So that plugs that into there. So I'm just going to add these 3 users into the account. So I can go back here, I can browse to my CSV file and click open. So it has all the required fields like the first name, the last name, the email, the username, role, user type and password. Click next. I want to add all 3 and click next. You might want to leave this because I don't think, unless you want to, this is more advanced functionality. You can take them on, but this is not just ArcGIS Online, so we can leave this for now. We can have another tutorial about that again. And we might just leave these for now as well. They're just extra applications that are available with ArcGIS Online, but they're not always needed for what you might want to do. But again, they're here if you want to look up what each one does. So that each member will have a credit limit of 100 credits as well. This means for some of the analysis tools that are in there, like you can create buffers around points and around roads and things like that, they can use kind of credits which are like a certain amount for each task that you do. We can explain this again as well, but keeping it at 100 is a good number to keep it at for each of your students. So I'm just going to click add members, and if I go to search for those members now, I'll see that my new members have been added. Yeah. So some of them are there. Okay. So the next thing we will look at is adding data into your map by a CSV file or by survey 123. Okay, so if I go to my browser again, but this time I'm going to go to my survey 123. So to get to survey 123, all you have to do is go to Google and type in survey 123, and survey 123 for ArcGIS comes up. Once it comes up, you just have to log in with the same account, and if you're already open in ArcGIS Online, it'll recognise that you're already open as well, so it'll already have you logged in. So survey 123 is essentially a really simple way to collect information on the field. It's kind of like a Survey Monkey, just with location and photos, and it's really helpful for some things like if you're doing a river study and it's really raining very hard and you're trying to take information with a piece of paper and a pen, and it's just an easier way that you can collect on any device, Apple or Android, when you're out and about. It's also great because you can use it offline and online, so you can download the survey onto, you can have the app which is available in the App Store, download onto any device, and the survey that we're about to create already downloaded onto the device, and your students can go out in the field and just input the information. If they're connected to the internet or they're not, their connection's bad, once it hits the good connection when they're back inside, all the points that are collected will sync. together so they'll go onto your map. So we're going to start off with creating a travel audit survey for this as an example. So I'm going to go to my surveys and I'm going to go create a new survey. So once you create a new survey, you go to use the web designer and I'm going to give it a name. So school travel audit. I'm going to give it a tag. So tags are so you can find it again. Kind of like if you're searching for content on YouTube, but your tags could be for a class or a topic, say, that you're working on. So I'm just going to give it a small summary. And click create. So this just takes a couple of minutes. But this will be what the survey is based off. I've created an Excel table here to give you an idea of what I mean. So you could have class year, how did you get to school, did you walk, cycle, car, bus, train, if it's a car, how many people were in the car, how long did it take you, mark on the map where you come from, could your commute be improved, and if yes, explain why. So it's a really simple little survey, but you're getting a location with it as well, and you're all doing it through survey 1 to 3. So how I do this is I can start with class year. So when it opens the survey here, you literally decide what type of question type you want, and you just build it in. So the first one is class year, so I'm just going to use single text. I'm going to give it a name, so this is a required question, so students have to fill it in. Click save. Then you can go to how did you get to school, so you can go to add, and this can be a multiple choice, so you can type it in, how did so car or cycle, walk, bus, train. Again, you can decide how this is visualised on it. So sometimes compact is good if it fits within, makes the survey look shorter. There's horizontal and there's vertical. So we're just going to maybe put it at horizontal compact, and we're going to say that this is a required question as well, and save. So you might put in another question, so it could be actually I might just X this and say number and give it a question. So if travelled by car, many people in the car. Just to get an idea of numbers, and you can click save. The next one you can put is multiple choice as well, and you can put how long did it take you. So you could put less than 5 minutes, less than 15 minutes, less than 30 minutes, less than 1 hour, and click this required question and save. Next you could put up, this is where it connects you into the location of your phone, so it's called a geopoint. So you could put in mark on the map where you came from. We can change the base map. I like the imagery with labels. So this means that once you're in the area collecting the survey, it'll actually zoom in using the location services of your phone to pinpoint where you are or to pinpoint where the students are. And we put this as a required question and we put save. You could then go up and say multi-line text, be improved. Could also be yes or no question, and then you could just click save. And next you might like them to add a photograph, so you can click add and image. So take a picture of your access to public transport, something like that, and click save and publish. So you're publishing this into your ArcGIS Online account, so this will be an active layer in your ArcGIS Online account. So as soon as a survey, if you could send this to your students, as soon as they fill it in and add points into it, it'll go directly into your ArcGIS Online account into a map, so all the points will start to be collected once you publish it. So once you've published content into your ArcGIS Online account, you can decide who sees it. You can also change the colour. You can do things like edit the theme and add a background like a logo or information. So even here is a description, so school transport audit. Okay, you can change this up and add a link or a photo or anything that you might like. And then once your survey is completed, all you have to do is go to, publish on that again, because it made a change afterwards, and you just go up to decide who actually has access to that survey. So this means, do you give it as an open survey, you can send a link to somebody and they can view it, or do you want to keep it just within the school so they have to log in every time they view the survey, want to add to it, or if you want to just keep it within a class group. So these are the buttons here that we can do this with. You can also go in and do this from your desktop and you are online on your device, and you can add points in directly using that map. Fill in the survey yourself, but pinpoint the locations when you're not in the field. You can do it when you're in the office, and it makes it a really simple way to add points into a map. So I can show you how to do that now once this publishes for me. Okay, so you can click collaborate. You can go click with everybody, or click with members of your organisation, or click with the following groups. This is with a specific class group that you might be working on. So you can look at creating groups later on in the webinar, but you could have specific class groups, and only people from within this group, because you've ticked the button to share within that group, will be able to see the survey. So what you can do as well is you can copy the survey link, which you can simply send to somebody. So right away, if I go in, I can send this survey to somebody who has access to it. I can fill it in. Search. Just click in location and put in information. and you could take a picture and submit the survey. So I could take a picture if you wanted and click submit. This is a required question, but if it wasn't required I could just take a picture to add that in. Or you can get the students or yourself to download the app onto the phone. That would just download the survey. You could also use a QR code which would open up the survey. Once they scan the QR code, it will open up straight away and open the survey in a new tab. So there we go. You can go in at any time and edit it. So if I go in and edit the design, I could go in again and just notice that this one, so I could take this one out. Yes. And I could just make the photograph one here. I could tick off that it's a required question. So you can go in at any time and edit it and also then republish it if you want. Okay, so the next one that we're going to look at is how to create data from scratch. So we're going to go in and see, so I've got an Excel table here and I have latitude, longitude, the name of a location, the address, the description, link, I've got a picture URL, I've got a video URL. So this is the type of data that you might be able to include in an Excel table, whatever topic that you're looking at. So this particular one is UNESCO sites in Ireland. So just to let you know that all of the data that you see on the map when you click on it, it all relates back into these fields in an Excel table. So whatever, like the survey 123, each question you ask will become a column here, as you could see. But also it would be in a blank Excel table. You'd have all the different fields like the lat long, the name, the address, the county description. So you just add in whichever fields that you want to display on a map or get information for. So you might ask, what does this mean? How do I get this information? So how to do this is, I got this data off online. It was open data for the UNESCO sites. When I actually got it online, it didn't have X and Y coordinates or that longs, so I had to go and find them. So what we'll do next is how to find those. So I'm going to add a new location to this Excel table just to show you how to do it. It's not actually a UNESCO site, but it's right beside our office here, which is the Phoenix Park in Dublin. So what I'm going to do is go in and show you how to add information onto it and then what it looks like when you view it onto a map. So I'm going to add point 7. I'm going to go into my browser, which will be here. I'm going to go up to Google Maps and I'm just searching for Phoenix Park, Dublin. So once you search for a location, any location to get a point on the map, you can do it this way to get the XY coordinates, or you can just keep filling in your survey using survey 123 and the points will be added onto the map. So I'll show you how to do both. So here we go to the Phoenix Park and I can just pick a location. So I'm going to go in this example to Dublin Zoo. So I'm just going to click on it and I want to get the X and the Y. So I'm saying what's here. So what's here comes up and there's the coordinates are here. So all you simply have to do then is just copy them. So you just copy here and go back to your table. So I'm going to use this one. Just paste it in. I'm going to put Dublin Zoo, address, just put simply in here, Dublin. You can add whatever description you want. I'm just going to put Dublin Zoo. So I'm just building onto this table here. I don't necessarily need this one here. Phone number, I can just add in phone number. Email address, this just came with the data set that I was working off, so I can just put schools. But really, when you're building in your own Excel table, or CSV, you just put whichever fields of information that are relevant to you. So the website for Dublin Zoo, I have it here. So I just copy the URL, and I'm just building up the Excel table. Further information, I can just put it in there. The image, it wants a picture URL because I'm building up this into a map tour, which is one of the web templates. It really points out the locations and where on the map with images and video. So I'm just going to go and I've got a picture. So if you ever want to get a picture to plug into your map, it has to be a JPEG or a PNG image. So how you know that is, you go into Google again, you search for a picture like the Phoenix Park, and I'll just take this one here, and you can right click on it, open image in a new tab. So this one is one that won't work because it's not a .jpeg or a .png. So you just have to go and find one that is. So again, this one's not. So this one is, it'll work, so it's .jpg. So I'm just going to copy this JPEG and I'm going to paste it in here. So as you can see, this will make it work. When it has to display into the map, I'm going to use the same one here. I'm going to put, this will make sense in a minute, all of these fields, but just shows you how to collect information and build it in. So I've got a video as well here of the Phoenix Park. Okay. So mostly these are YouTube videos. I might actually get a YouTube video of that one. So to get a YouTube video, you just go YouTube. With Phoenix Park, Dublin. Click on it, and copy the link, and then paste it into your table. This one has a video, but it's embedded into it, so I'm just going to use this one instead. Okay, and then next of all you do is save it. And that's your table, that's how to get your coordinates and build your information. So what does this look like when it goes into the map? So you go back to your ArcGIS Online account, and the most button that you're probably going to use in your ArcGIS Online account is your My Content. So as we've just looked at these ones here, which is my organisation, but this time we're going to look at your My Content or your content. As an administrator, you can go in at any time to your different members and see what content that they have created. So you can view, manage their items and go in and see what they've created, which is useful for your students. But for yourself, you can just go to your My Content, and this is where all of the different items, all the data that you've created, your maps and your different applications, this is where they'll all be stored at any stage. So the terminology behind your features is as soon as you put a CSV file or Survey 123 into your ArcGIS Online account, as soon as you publish it, it will become what's known as a feature layer. So what that means is it's just the online version of your data that you can stream into different maps and share with other members online. So it's just the terminology first. But what we'll do is we want to add that table that we just created with UNESCO sites and our Dublin Zoo. So you go up to add item from your computer, you browse to your item. So I'm going to use this one here and click open. Once you click open, you give it a tag. So UNESCO. I'm going to, it'll already have picked up my coordinates into the given fields that are in my table, as you can see. So each of the fields in the Excel table, or that you save it as a CSV file before you put it into ArcGIS Online, will become a field when you click on the point on the map of information. So you click add item, and this will do exactly what it did with the Survey 123. It will package it all up and publish it into your ArcGIS Online account, and it will become a feature layer, which is your online layer to visualize your data on a map. So once this publishes, the way to view your data on the map is you have to open it in a map viewer. So this is your web map. This is where you visualize any data. This is where you layer up layers of information into the map. So we can just click open map viewer. So automatically the map will use smart mapping to interpret the information that's in your CSV file. So it's already picked up that these are our locations, and then it will pick up all of the different fields of information, the ones that are there from your CSV file, as you can see here. So it's already broken them down using smart mapping into types. This will always happen with your data. It will give you options on how to present it on your map automatically, and you can work out the different colours and the different trends and patterns between the information. If it's points or if it's boundaries like polygons, or if it's lines, it will categorise it. So we just click done. So if you click on any of these pop-ups, you'll again see the information, how it's broken down based on the fields of information that are in your CSV file. So I've put in information here. There's a lot of descriptions, and I've got pictures, and I've got videos. So the fun thing about that is if you build up your CSV file, there's lots you can do with it then once you get to this stage. So you can go down and go configure pop-up, and this will be the pop-up title when you click on it, as you can see, but we can make this look a lot nicer. So we can take away that pop-up title. You can type in free text, or you can actually tick the field name. So here is the name. So every time you pick on a point, the different field names for each of the points will display, because that's the name field. You can go down a field attributes, or you can decide different ways to present your information, or you can just tick off the points of information that you don't need in your data set. Like you might tick off phone number and email and website, or maybe leave website. It's up to yourself. And you can just tick them off, which just means that when you tick on it again, when you click save, that these will be turned off, this information reviewing. They won't be deleted or anything, you're just not presenting them. We just want to display as much information to make it interpretable on your map. So we can go add media as well. So this is where you can add images, pie charts, bar graphs, depending on your information. Kind of like the Survey 123 when I was going numeric, and with text, if it's numeric, you can do things like bar charts, or you can do the same with types as well for pie charts, like the different types of locations and things like that. But we're going to add an image. So image of, or I can go picture of UNESCO site. Again, you can go into the URL for it, which is the picture here, and you can go the link as well, which could bring you to the video or even to the website. So I might go video and click OK and click OK, and that means when I tick on this now, and scroll down, the other fields I didn't need will be gone. But there I am, I have a picture, and it also clicks through to the video. Okay, so we might want to also go into base map and change this map before we save it. So imagery with labels, I think is a good example of this, especially if you're showing off the different sites. And might just leave this one for now. I might just show you quickly here is search for layers. So if you search for layers in your data, this is a schools audit earlier, so anything that you create, you will have visibility to see. So we just add this into the map quickly for you to see. That's the schools audit, so that's how you add it into your map once you create it. I might add that later, but I just wanted to show you how to find it. So I'm just going to click Save As. So I'm going to go UNESCO Site Map. I'm going to add a tag. A description and save the map. So that's how you save your web map. So you could click and that is a link to this map to give to somebody. But really what you want to do to share it is this is the same as the survey 1 tree. Decide who you want to give this map to, who can view this map. So it can be everybody, so you could give this to anybody within ArcGIS Online and they'll be able to view the map just by the link and won't have to log in. But if it's secure and sensitive information you only want your school to see, you just tick share with your school. Or again, if you had specific groups or class groups that you want to share content with, you could just share it with specific groups. And this is a link to the map once you decide who you want to share it with. So I'm just going to create in this example everybody because I can share it on afterwards. You don't have to log in. And next of all, I'm going to create a web app, which is the next step really from the web map if you want to give it to somebody. These web apps are really nice looking templates to put a map into. The web map is perfectly fine to send the link to as well. There's just a lot of tools and things going on that you might confuse the user, and you might want to keep things really simple, or you might want to use a web app template for a specific reason, like a story map, to present your information. So the basic viewer is a really simple viewer to give someone if you just want them to visualize data. There's a compare one here where you could have two web maps that compare things over time, or two topics, or before and after destruction from an earthquake or tsunami. This is what it looked like before, this is what it looked like after, and it'll be a swipe between the two, the damage. So there's lots of these to go through for you to have a look at. And this story map you might have heard me talk about before, the Cascade story map is a really great one for presentation. It lets you add videos, maps, images and points and descriptions all in one and present that. And then there's also a couple of other ones here, but in this example I've created in this table specific fields like images and pick URL. I did that purposely because I wanted to create what's known as a map tour. So this is a really great template to use for focusing on a location, a description, and where it is on the map. So I'll show you what this looks like now. So it's great for field work to identify each location separately onto the map. And once you have your table configured in such a way with the right fields, it will look automatically like this. So this is the description field, this is the TUM URL, which if you look at the CSV, you'll see I have all of these fields of information there. So it's just reading them off the CSV file and presenting them onto the map. So you can import more images or organize it. When you click through, it just goes through the different sites, as you can see, and then you can go to settings. You can change the look and feel of it. You can go up to colors, change the color. The header, you can add your own school logo, its own title, what it is, zoom extent, layout, and so on. And click apply. you can see, you can go up and add the text and so on. There's the description. And then what you can do next is you just click save. It's saving your story. You can click share. So again, you just open it here and this is what you've just created. We've shared this, I've shared this with everybody, but you can just give the link to somebody, and if you share it with your organisation or class group, they just have to log in to see it, and this could demonstrate any project that you're working on or lesson. So it gives an idea of the points on the map, where they are, and it will also pinpoint them. If you set the default on one of the points at the start on the web map, actually, once you scroll through, it will zoom you in on each point automatically as well. Okay, so we'll move on. So I'm just going to go back to arcgisonline.com now. Okay, and I'm going to go back to my content, and I'm going to just plug in our schools audit that we worked on earlier on. So I'm going to get into my content. I'm going to go to my feature layer. And again, I'm going to open it in a map viewer. You don't have to use a symbol, you can just change it as well. So I'm just going to click done. It's just added this one automatically, so I'm just going to remove it and click yeah. So I can go up to my survey 1 to 3 and add in a point this time. Just going to zoom in. I'm just going to submit just to show you how points are added into the map. Okay. And I'm going to just refresh this just to show you how the data goes in. It's just going to pick up how I want to present the data because I just added a point. Click done. I'm going to take this one out again, sorry. Yeah. So that's the school that I've just added, as you can see. And you might ask that once, so every time points are added to the map, they're going to go in automatically. But you might ask, where do you find other sources of information and data onto the map? You've just created your own, you've got your schools audit, you can go search for layers, and you have all of the data that you've created in your My Content. You could add a data, as I said, in 2 different ways here, but you might want more. So you can go and you can search within your organisation, which will show you data that other members in your school has shared, like your other students for projects they're working on within groups. You have My Groups as well, so you can add content that's within groups. So here's some of the car spaces in Dublin. There's a range of different data groups that are already in your schools account that you can go and find in your My Groups, in your My Content. So there's train station locations in Fingal, there's car spaces, major infrastructure like roads. So just to show you, that's the schools audit, the points are onto the map, but this other information like car spaces or trains or buses or locations and stops can be found in your ArcGIS Online account, there's a lot of data already there that you can go and search for and add directly into your account by doing it this way, or searching within ArcGIS Online like roads, Ireland, National Road Network. And these should add into the map. As you can see, these are things to complement your map. There's other things like here that you can go and add, but you can add directly in from the Living Atlas. So you can go in, I'm just going to put this down, and you can get like live traffic service and add it in. So this is data at different times of the day. If we zoom in on that school that we added in Lucan, you can get a wealth of information about live traffic feeds going on in Dublin, as you can see right now, or at different given times of the day. So just to show you where some data comes from that you do have within your ArcGIS Online account, here are the groups that I spoke about that I have data already in. So this is all your base maps, so you have access on your base maps to the RSI Map Genie and the Northern Ireland Ordnance Survey base maps as well. So I'm just going to scroll down to show you some of the other ones. So we've got a history group lesson in here, we've got environmental, conservation and heritage, and from within these groups we've sourced open data available for these categories like geology, like bedrock. So you just have to go into the groups button, which is here in your ArcGIS Online account, and click into any of these pre-prepared groups, and you can add any of these data sets to your maps that complement whatever project or data that maps that you're working on. Okay, so, and then again, if you want to create your own groups, you can. For your class groups, you go in and you create a group. Only viewed by members in your organisation. Who can join this group? Only people that are invited. You create your group. You invite users. So there's Mary Murphy that we added earlier. Send her an invitation. And so you literally go in and find your class group that you have been working on. There's Joe Blogs. Send invitation, and there'll be 2 members added into this group once they accept the invitation to join. Okay. So some helpful links just before we finish up in a few minutes is to go through with you. So just to wrap up on that, you've got your My Organisation. You can add your members in, add them one by one or by a CSV file. You've got your My Content. So this is where you can add items like a CSV file with X and Y coordinates for any topic. You can add data into your map by using your survey 123, create a new survey, add points directly from your computer using the map to locate or on the field. Is an easy way to add data into the map. You've got your content from within there, from your own content searching for it, your organisation and your groups and the pre-prepared groups that are already in your ArcGIS Online account. And you can go in and create groups for your class groups just by create the group and then invite the different users or different class members into the group. So that's kind of the basics and gone through it. So the next thing I'll look at will be, you've also looked at the map tour template, which could be useful for some of the surveys that you do in your survey 123. So if you want to find more resources, you just go on to the school's website. 1 second. You go onto the school's website. So this is the UK, has some more web resources for the UK, and then we have our own version of it, which is the Esri Ireland Schools website. So you can sign up schools, let them know about the ArcGIS for Schools available. Discover more. This is your teaching resources, so there's a range of different resources available if you want to go in afterwards and look. Also, I'm going to put up content created by teachers and resources that we have made available onto the resources site as well. So fieldwork using Survey 1 to 3, even descriptions for the first class that you might teach this, what is GIS, and so on. So you can scroll into this. I can share these links with you afterwards, but there's also a learning paths from within ArcGIS Esri, which is telling stories with GIS maps. You can just go to learning paths, and there's a variety of courses that are available there for you to use. They're broken down already straight away: activities, continued learning, GIS vocabulary, course description, like what do all these words mean, activities, who be interested in accessing data for them, like educator guide to get to know GIS for secondary school, learning plan. So there are a lot of resources available that you have access to, and that you can get in contact with us and we can go through them with you, or just hear like what is a base map, what is a feature, what is GIS, what is a layer, what is scale, spatial analysis. There's a lot of tools here to help you at getting started using ArcGIS for schools. GIS fundamentals, this is the learning paths. Like this is the courses that are available using ArcGIS, getting started with ArcGIS. There's a variety of these available to you. They can send through. Yeah, learning paths. Here, so GIS fundamentals, spatial analysis, and then you can go into any of these, and they're free to use. 3 hours and 30 minutes. So they're worth looking at. There's also the ArcGIS for Schools videos on our Esri Ireland YouTube channel, as you can see. And then if you search for open data, CSV file data download, this is an earthquake one off the USGS website, and this is earthquakes that have happened past hour, past day. So there's a lot of open data available from different resources like the GeoHive, data.gov, USGS website, and so on. Okay, so I might just scroll back here to our presentation. Just some frequently asked questions, and then if there's any questions that you want to ask as well, let me know. Questions? Okay, so there's none really at the moment, but is it easy to use? So yeah, you need the ArcGIS Online, you just need the internet to use it. How much setup is involved? Just the internet, just log on with your username and password to ArcGIS Online. How does it set up? We set that up for you. It doesn't need to be installed. You don't need a computer lab. It can be any device, anywhere, at any time. Obviously, if you have a computer lab for a class, it's going to help. But it's any device can use it. You definitely need the internet. What's included? All of the stuff that I've just gone through. The content is private once you publish it, unless you state otherwise by ticking that box to share. And is the content relevant to the curriculum? We're actively creating the resources to match the curriculum. So if there's a specific resource that you need for a topic you're working on, please let us know and we can work on putting it together or matching you to a resource that could fit really well into what you're working with. And it's not just for geography, it can be cross-subject. Obviously there's a natural fit with geography because it's maps and data and geographic analysis, but it could be used for any topic. The software is there, the technology can be used for any data, as you've just seen from me put together a schools audit and UNESCO's heritage sites. The time is just what you need to spend initial time at the beginning to go through it, to get to know how the terminology or how to set things up. But then once you do, and you can look back over the webinar and some of the videos and lesson packs that we have, you can feel confident to go through it. And please do get in touch, because we would love to get involved with you on different topics or projects that you're working on. Okay, so that's it for today. I thank you very much for joining, and if you have any questions at all, please let me know. Get in contact at schools.esri-ireland.ie. My name is Aidan Crosdell, and I'm the Programme Lead for the ArcGIS for Schools programme. So yeah, please get in touch, and if you want to talk over the next while to get using GIS or for a specific lesson, or be included in some of our events coming up, or have any suggestions, just let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And okay, thanks again for joining, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye.